Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live and it's late, but it's one way that I get to prolong the pain of Tottenham fans. They thought they got away with it. They thought that at the end of the day, when they clocked off at work, that all the banter was done. Well, it's not, because you've got today's post-match reaction and then you've got tomorrow and then the rest of the week, because it's the first time we beat you at the toilet bowl. So we've got to make sure we rub it in. All right, I'm joined by Steve K. How you doing, Steve? Still in high spirits after yesterday's emphatic win. 2-0 victory, dominated, absolutely picked them all over the pitch.
Oh, mate, I've been implorable for the last, 24 hours on WhatsApp, phone calls, phoning up people. Stay quiet before the game. I was never given any really big predictions, not giving it the big one. But, mate... I ain't come down from it yet. I ain't come down to it. We had the disappointment before the game. We have the Mudryk thing, which now I think about that, I'm not really bothered by it at all. It's gone. It's finished. But the actual performance yesterday was, mate. I went and watched the Invincibles the whole season when we won that, and yeah, I mean, it's literally was like that. It's like watching that type of football again. Yeah, I'm starting to compare players of then with players of now. I mean, we went to Tottenham then, and we went 2-0 up, and we thought and then in that game when we won that title that year, they came back and drew 2-2. But this team has just got something unbelievably special, and the football that we're playing at the moment, mate, is it's probably up there with the Invincibles. Of some of the ones that are best I've ever seen. I mean, we've even got bigger points tally than we have got when the Invincibles won the title. I think they had 42 with 18 games. We've got 47, is it? I can't. Yeah. So unbelievable, mate. Man to man, everybody was absolutely outstanding. It was just full of incident, weren't it? On the pitch, off the pitch. Yeah, it was great.
And we will get into that, and we will dig into it a lot more tomorrow. Overall, excellent performance from top to bottom. Everyone put it in yesterday, and we got the result that was needed. A lot of pressure on Arsenal every time that you see the games beforehand. Man United taking points off of Manchester City, which then puts them in a shout for the title race as well. But Arsenal came through and got the points that they needed. Excellent win. And to see at the end Arsenal celebrating in Tottenham Stadium, I think the last time I can remember that was it Szczesny's when he was taking a photo with all the other players? That classic photo. I think that was the last time we beat them. That was at their old stadium. So, it was brilliant. And it was good to see, even after the nonsense that was going on at the end, that they still made time to go and celebrate in the corner. They didn't let that sort of distract them a bit. Because I think that's what the Tottenham players wanted them to do. They wanted to kind of distract them, maybe just get them to walk straight off the pitch. But we didn't let them. We didn't give them that, did we?
No, we didn't, mate. I mean, at the final whistle, obviously, even Spurs fans, they won't condone what happened. But I mean, at the end, the scenes at the end were just, again, they sort of mirror the Invincible scenes. We're a long way off that yet. We're only at halfway. So title, nothing's won yet. Nothing gets won in January. So we've still got a long way to go. But I mean. I think we're starting to believe now, the guys on the pitch. I mean, the Richarlison thing with Aaron Ramsdale at the end, and you got to love that. I love it. I love to see what Aaron Ramsdale's doing. Other fans won't like it, but personally, I loved it. Kissing the bags, giving it to the Tottenham fans. I think Richarlison, should take a look at yourself, because if anything, he was the one that started it all off. I'm hearing these idiots, Gary Neville, Simon Jordan, Richard Keys, sit on my finger, you arseholes. That's all I want to say to you. You know, I think we could just do an old pod on that.
I haven't heard what Gary Neville's had to say about it, but I've heard what Richard Keys had to say about it. And to be fair to the other commentator that was there, he was very quick to go and try and shut him down because he knew what he was trying to get at. And before Richard Keys could even finish, he jumped in and was like, no, nothing. You can't condone what that guy's done because of how he wants to celebrate. Like, yes, you're going to get players give it to the crowd, but that's part of it. I'm sorry, you're going to take away, like, because especially with goalkeepers are different from any other position. Yeah, when you stand in their half every game or every other game. Yeah, so you have that bit of banter between the fans behind your goal and you. Yeah, you've
had it since the start of time, haven't you?
Yeah, it's not with any malice. And with goalkeepers, we like to give it back and forth, and the fans behind the goal will do it as well. Yeah. And if I see the goal, they're going to give it even more. You're not laughing now, are you? If we score, I give it back to them. That's how it is. Now that geezer lost his head, and now would be banned for life, and rightly so. You can't take away from what the goalkeepers and the away fans have. Richard Keys is an idiot. He's never played football, and that's why he's talking the way he does. Andy Gray kept quiet because he was probably embarrassed to say anything, thinking, God, what's he talking about? And the other geezer jumped in and was like, no, what are you talking about? You can't condone fans jumping on the pitch because a player is giving it a bit of that and they're going back and forth. No.
I think the Arsenal players went straight to Richarlison, didn't they? You know, the first person they was going to, you know, they also pulling Ramsdale away. Gabriel went straight to Ramsdale, pushed him away from the crowd. Obviously, Jack was...
I'll put the video. We need to watch that video.
You gotta love him. You gotta love Greenwich.
Pulling away Ramsdale and then seeing Xhaka just run the other way. I need you for Man United. I need you for the rest of the season. Stop.
Yeah. And then you see, like,
you hear what Jack is saying? I just want to talk to the players. I just want to talk to the Tottenham players. No. Get back here. You get back.
But it was like Arteta trying to get him. You know, it was like one of them. Do you remember in the 80s with the old Benny Hill? You know, when Arteta was trying to run after someone. That's what exactly he looked like. That's what he looked like, Xhaka. And he was going, no, I'm all right. I'm just going over there. Just going over there. But Arteta knows. He was probably thinking, no, you're not going over there to chat to no one, mate. I know what you're going to do. You stay calm. We need you, mate. We need you to stay. You know, we don't need you getting sent off. You know, at the end.
None of that act right now. And look, we'll speak about it tomorrow. But the Richarlison, I think the FA needs to get involved in the Richarlison thing because it wasn't just once; it was twice. There was a thing with Tomiyasu, where he doesn't need to put his hands on him, and then at the end of the game, where he's decided to raise his hands and push Ramsdale in the head. So if you're going to start putting your hands on people's heads, mate, it's a red card offence, and he needs to get a match ban.
What made me laugh? He apologised to Did you see him apologise to Martinelli and Makalate to Gabriel? Did you see that?
That's because they're probably spoken to in their native tongue and said, "Sort your life out," and he's like, "I'm sorry, I've lost my head." But he accused Martinelli of diving on the game. He said, wasting time. He accused him of wasting time because Gabriel at the corner, Richarlison was warming up, and Martinelli went to take a corner, so he's put the ball down in the quadrant. And this was like going towards like last 15 minutes, and instead of taking the corner, Gabriel, he's gone to shake Richarlison's hand as if to say, "You're right, mate. How you doing?" and Richarlison's like, "What are you doing? It's ain't the corner. You wasted time." It was classic. It's brilliant. All right, let's get on to the player ratings now. If you are watching on Twitter, come over to KS1 TV. Link is in the comments section, and come and get your player ratings in as well now. You got man of the match from Sky Sports, Steve, Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, I mean, what a man. You know, what a man. fantastic performance. Kept second half, really had to come into it. Made some very, very important saves from I think it was a couple from Harry Kane. I think there was one from Son. Good saves as well. They could have easily gone in, but look, he's part of the team. He's our goalkeeper. You could say that's what he's there to do. He done his job absolutely perfectly. I think, obviously, we love Aaron Ramsdale for his passion and everything as well. Keeping his head all through the match. Obviously getting a lot of stick from the Tottenham fans. If I'm being picky, I was shouting. Sometimes I just thought it was like 15, 20 minutes to go. And when the ball come to him, I wanted him to sort of get the ball and drop to the floor and hold it and waste a few seconds. But he was like a madman. He was like, I don't know if he was drinking Fanta or some orange juice before he came on the pitch or something.
Playing it out.
He was going, yeah, but he was like, got the ball. And it wasn't like, waste 5 seconds, waste 10 seconds. He got the ball and was like he was like, whoa, 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 I'm throwing it out again. And I'm going, slow down, just calm it. So,
that's just your nerve style.
Bit excited. I was going, just calm it a bit. But yeah, no, he was excellent, mate. I'll give him an 8. And one thing I will say as well, just quickly, I mean, he got man of the match from Sky. I think that was Gary Neville, giving it, sticking it to Arsenal a little bit there, I think he was sort of saying, well, if it wasn't for Ramsdale, Arsenal would have lost. I got a little bit of that.
I mean, he can try, but Ramsdale was excellent yesterday. So
he was excellent, no doubt about it.
Yeah. He can try that a backhanded comment. Look. Gary Neville doesn't want Arsenal to win the league. Like, he dropped a little, I'd rather have Arsenal win the league than Man City. Shock horror. You don't want your biggest rivals to win the league. And obviously you don't want Liverpool to win the league. So who else is there? Like no one wants your validation, Gary. Yeah, we don't care. We don't need it. But you're meant to be impartial. You're meant to be unbiased, and you are not. I don't want Gary Neville commentating on Arsenal games because it's not an enjoyable experience. Because it's just everything is backhanded. It's horrible to watch when Arsenal play. It's and Gary Neville at every single point waiting to drop something to say, I knew it, I told you so. They can't. That's what he's waiting for, and it's not happening. I think I saw something the other day saying that he now thinks that Man United will catch up on Arsenal. You're waiting for Arsenal to fall off.
But it's like, how do you... Arsenal are 9 points in front of Manchester United at this moment in time, right? That's 3 games, right? Not only that, we've got an absolute superior goal difference. So that's 4 games, yeah? So because they'd have to win a 4th one as well. Yeah, because they still wouldn't go above us after 3 games. So that means Arsenal would have to lose 4 and Man United would have to win 4 and not lose. If Man United are in a title race, then Brentford are in a top 4 race.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Man United won't, but because we've seen things happen before. We know we've watched enough football and title races in our times to know. But that's a ridiculous comment at this stage. There's a 9-point gap with like a superior difference. So that it's not 9 points, actually. It's 12 points. People have got to have a little think about that. That superior goal gives us another 3 points because they would not go above us if they won 3 games and got level points with us.
Look,
which is a big if.
A lot of these pundits have been bantering Arsenal for ages. They didn't take us seriously. And when we've been saying, like, what we've been seeing over the last 3 seasons, I got the first season 8th, second season, it happens. It weren't great. Yeah. First season, you come halfway through the season, finished off the season by winning the FA Cup. We can't forget about that one. Beating Manchester City and Liverpool on the way, or Chelsea on the way, whoever it was. The second season, not good. It was horrible to watch. Like the first half of that season was the worst I've felt in ages.
Yeah,
because it was just not nice, and it wasn't necessarily because of the football, but it was just the whole atmosphere. You're trying to get settled with your new manager, and you got half the fan base is already losing their heads to saying he don't know what he's doing and whatnot. We got through that. We saw the second half of the season much better. We carried that into the third season, all the way through that first half of the season. Second season, we were down because of a few injuries, and then we sold Aubameyang. But we've been saying the progression has been since the start. The progression has been since he said that we need to change the mentality of the players. We need to change the mentality of the club, and then we need to change the mentality. That's when it started. It didn't start last season. It didn't start this season. Now we're winning and doing well. Like, that's ludicrous to think that this is out of nowhere. I don't know where this is from. We've been saying it's coming. We've been saying this guy is the real deal, but you didn't believe us. You didn't believe us, and now you're trying to say that, we're wait and see. We're see. Well, we've been doing it. We've seen long, consistent runs. It's not been bitty. It's not. It's long, consistent runs, and then we've had a real bad patch. But other than that, it's been long, consistent runs. That's how we've been doing it, and we've been doing these as well. So it's not fly by night. It's not come out of nowhere. This is a part of the process that people were mugging off for the last 2-3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Right, William Saliba.
It's just he was incredible, absolutely incredible. I mean, he's had last few games. He's been a little bit iffy. He's looked a bit nervous. Getting his, he played in the World Cup. He didn't get no game time, but he brought him straight back in. It took him a little bit of time to get going again, but against Spurs, he was outstanding. I mean, he was just winning everything in the air. He was absolutely calm and, collected at the back. I thought he was brilliant. I'll give him an 8.
8 for Saliba. Yeah, the thing he's young, isn't he? So a thing like not playing for a month and not getting into like playing regularly for France. He got like 40 minutes in that last game against Tunisia, didn't he? But like that's gonna kind of take him off of his stride a little bit. Look at Zinchenko. Zinchenko was out for over a month, and he took a few games to come back into it. And he's a Premier League winner multiple times and winning World Cups and an experienced international. So they're gonna come off their game. They're gonna have a bit of a sketchy patch, but it's just about the teammates backing them up and making sure they support them and they have take some of the pressure off. Gabriel.
Excuse me. I almost feel like we should talk about these as a pair because they're like Siamese twins, these two. Yeah. I think like when we do our match ratings, we should say Gabriel and Saliba because they just mimic each other. And they're definitely, for me, they're the best partnership in the Premier League at the moment. Bar absolute none. And just taking Gabriel on his own, I'd go as far as saying he's the best centre half in the Premier League at this moment in time. I think his consistency over this season as well, not over the season because I think in the beginning he there was a few games where he could have been better. But recently, over the last 8, 9, possibly 10 games, I don't think there's been anyone better in the Premier League than him. He don't miss anything. His positioning's getting even better. His passing out's getting even better. His tackling is fantastic. Just like I said, like as a pair, as well. So I'll sort of, include Saliba in this. In the second half where Tottenham really came onto us. Those two in the middle of the park, there was a lot of balls coming in from the left, from the right. Kulusevski putting balls in, Richarlison putting balls in.
It was, although they weren't great,
was clear.
he was one of their more lively players, Kulusevski.
He was
constantly causing.
Yeah,
he weren't bad at all.
Yeah, I think he's a very good player in a very bad side.
Yeah,
I think he's he could have come to Arsenal. He'd obviously be a lot happy at the moment. He might have not started every game, but it's certain. I think he'd be a lot happier player, and I just think it's the team he's in at the moment. Gabriel, fantastic. I'll give him an 8 as well. But over the last few games, I think, I don't think there's anyone better. I can't think of anyone better in the Premier League.
Yeah, I've I said it before. I think he's so underrated. Like, especially this season, there's been much talk of Saliba and how well he's settled in. He don't settle in this well if he ain't next to Gabriel, mate. He don't.
No.
Gabriel's been absolutely outstanding partnership with him.
He's
Absolutely
overlooked.
outstanding. He's complemented him so well. Like, Gabriel is the bosher. We saw it with last season. We saw Gabriel and Ben White. Excellent partnership as well. Gabriel was the bosher. Ben White was the Rolls Royce. Gets the ball down, sprays it, diags here, there, and there. Now Gabriel's Ben White's moved out to right back. Saliba's come in. He's the Rolls Royce. Different type of player to Ben White. Less spraying of the ball. Probably runs with it a bit more. But again, excellent partnership. Been absolutely outstanding this season. Ben White.
God, just missed the consistency, isn't he? You know, when does this guy ever have a bad game? I mean, you know, Son wasn't even, I didn't even know he was on the pitch again. You know, just totally non-existent. You know, over that side. Most of the stuff was trying to get down to the right, and I think that's a big, you know, sort of. You know, a bit of a pat on the back to Ben White that they didn't really got a lot.
They're not been watching us. They thought there was a weak spot.
They thought there was a weak spot, and now they know.
They probably get more out of Zinchenko than you would out of Ben White.
Exactly. He's turning into, again, like similar to Gabriel, one of the best right backs in the Premier League. Yeah, I mean, we wondered
like why he was going to the World Cup. But Arsenal fans were saying he needs to go because he's an option at centre back and he's an option at right back, and people were questioning right back. Yeah, he has been one of the best right backs in the league this season, like without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, for someone to come in who is, like you've already said, I mean, he's like he's made his name as a centre back. You know, to come into a side that's sitting at the top of the league when he started the season as a centre back. I mean, that for me, he's on his way to being player of the season. For me, he's got to be really up there in the top three at the moment for me because of that. You know, but yeah, he was excellent. Mr. Consistency, never has a bad game. Tottenham just never got nothing out of him. Never got near him. Never got a whisper. So yeah, I'll give him an 8 as well.
Zinchenko.
I mean, first half I thought he was unbelievable.
He was untouchable, weren't he? He was outrageous. He was outstanding.
He's a left back who was playing in midfield. Yeah. He was popping out in midfield. He was getting forward down the lines. He was cutting inside. He was breaking up play. He was like the cheerleader, if you like, from the back. His passion, everything about the quality of this guy is absolutely unbelievable. I think that, like, there was a couple of times where he did give the ball away a little bit, but I mean, he was absolutely outstanding for me. So good. I'm going to give him a 9 because I think when you watch him, you realise the gap between having him at left back and Kieran Tierney. It's not the same for me. It's not the same, and that's no slight on Kieran Tierney, because if Kieran Tierney came in as a left back, it wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't worry, because Kieran Tierney is a great player. But there's just things that Zinchenko does that I just don't see Kieran Tierney doing. I think Kieran Tierney's that little bit better defensively, but as a all-round left back, I think this guy's, he's number 1. So, 9, mate.
All right. Xhaka.
Yeah, I mean, my man, my number 8, my main guy, just controlled the midfield there, does what I say it every week. He just does what Xhaka does. You know, his movement, he's passing the ball, his work rate. You know, box to box. You know, getting, you know, protecting, helping Partey protect the front line. And the next minute he's up top. You know, and he's a danger. He's a threat in the opposition half. Switching balls out. I mean, he played a lovely couple of balls through. I think he played one through to, was it Nketiah? And, you know, probably should have scored. But yeah, again, another great performance from Xhaka. And just, yeah, and I love these little sort of tete-a-tete he had with Antonio Conte towards the end there. You know, that was fantastic. You know, when they was having a little row with each other. I don't know if you see that, but you know, that was great to see. You know, so yeah, I'll give him an 8.
Thomas Partey.
We never had him last year, did we? At Tottenham, and
no, not in the
it
second
showed.
half season.
And
yeah,
it showed. We had him today, and wow, what a player this is turning into being.
They say we've got no world-class players, and if you're classing Casemiro as world-class, if you're classing Rodri as world-class, then you've got to class Thomas Partey as world-class.
Yeah, yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. I mean, he's just. I mean, it looked like they couldn't live with him.
No.
You could have had 5 midfield players in there with Thomas Partey, and Xhaka could have gone and had a rest, and they still not could have dealt with him. That's Casemiro, Rodri. They need their players around him, right? Thomas Partey doesn't need anybody. That guy just controls everything. I don't know. He could play on his own. He could play against 12 men. I mean, and then he's just so cool on the ball, and he doesn't look fast, but he's deceptively quick. You know, he just seems to move to the right places at the right time. He knows where to be. You know, it's like you look up and think, oh, you need someone in that position over there if they get an attack. You know, if they break up play, the opposition take up play, and then you look up the field and you think, I hope someone's there, and there he is, and he's in that position. It's very similar to Gilberto Silva. You used to look and say, I know where a player should be, and he always was where he was meant to be. And I mean, and that shot that he did in the first half, I mean, I just wish it would have gone in. I wish it would have gone in. What an absolute shot, considering we was, you know, having a go at this player. We not having a go, we was having a little joke, you know, about his shooting. You know, we was saying, oh, please don't shoot, just don't give it. You know, every time he used to pull his leg back to have a shot, we used to like turn away and go, oh no, Thomas, don't.
But since he's hit a couple of long range goals, you don't mind him shooting now. He scored a few now.
Yeah. He was outstanding, absolute standing. He gets a 9 for me. I've seen people give him 7s and 8s.
What for yesterday?
I thought he was a 9. I thought he was up there. I thought he was. There's other players who have got everybody. I mean, you could have picked any man in a match, but I don't think what people do. They tend to look. I think they're blinded sometimes, and they just look at the attacking players and the players that do the silky stuff, and who's scoring all the goals. And I think they just concentrate on that. I really don't think. Although you always get a load of credit from Arsenal fans, and rightly so, I still don't think they say the right things or realise what he actually does.
Yeah,
in that midfield.
I agree. I fully agree. But I think it was the same when Martin Odegaard earlier on in the season, because he wasn't scoring goals or getting assists. He was getting his performance was getting underrated just because. But he ticks things over. He's moving. He's trying to create space and make space and put through balls or have shots. Like But Thomas Partey yesterday was absolutely outstanding. And I think sometimes you need to probably go and ask the opposition who they thought was the most was the most trouble. Because we had this against Chelsea. And a lot of people were talking about this player and that player and this, that, and that. And then I see Chelsea fans say, Thomas Partey, we couldn't handle him. And that is what it was like yesterday. They could not handle him. Anytime they had the ball, a toe would come in out of nowhere. That's why they call him the octopus. A toe would come in, take the ball. He gets his arms round people, pushes them round the side, passes. And he don't just pass the man next to him. He sees Saka on the wing, or he sees Odegaard quite high up. So it goes past 2 or 3 players and it cuts them apart. It absolutely ruins teams.
He finds so much space. He's always in space as well.
Always in space. Always in space.
He seems to have this knack. He gets the ball. Most of the time, he'll look up and Ramsdale will look for him and he'll roll it out to him or he'll throw it out to him. Partey get it, pull it down, and he just does that little Cruyff turn. He does that little Cruyff turn, and all of a sudden he's made himself like next to 2-3 yard space, and then he's made enough space where he just pings in balls left and right or through balls to Zinchenko most of the time. Zinchenko was getting a lot of balls from Thomas Partey yesterday, especially obviously in the first half. Second half, he was obviously pinned back a little bit more, but mate, I can't. There's no one better. No, there's not a better DM than him in the league at the moment. Not no way. No way. I mean, you just say there's some good ones as well. We've got Casemiro,
Declan Rice, Rodri is consistent. Casemiro's probably been one of the most informed defensive midfielders. But I'm sorry, I watch this guy every week, and he's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And
what part he's got the Casemiro ain't. He's got that. He's got that ability to be able to find space. I see Casemiro give the ball away a lot. He can do a dodgy pass, but Partey recently he's not giving the ball away anymore. He used to, but not anymore.
He used to. He's finding space. Odegaard and Saka are always available for him. Always available. And I think what sometimes Xhaka's there and people are expecting to pass to Xhaka, he misses her out, which then it draws in a player, and then Saka and Odegaard have even more space because they've been drawn into thinking it's going to go to Xhaka.
Yeah, I think Xhaka, like similar to the Saliba Gabriel partnership that we was talking about earlier. I think the Xhaka Partey partnership is a similar thing. They're like the Siamese, another pair of Siamese twins. And I think Xhaka, the way Xhaka's been for the last season, 2 seasons, I mean, Partey was injured a lot the season before, like you said. But especially this season, the way Xhaka plays, the position that he now plays in has helped Thomas Partey out a lot.
Yeah, they've been an excellent, and I've seen more recently as well that Odegaard and Partey and Saka trio is starting to get a bit more life in it again. So yeah, that's good. Danny Garwood says, I think Arsenal on fire, every player. I don't think any player under 8. Good to see you, Ross. Martin Odegaard.
Where do I start with this? I don't know if I've got words, to be honest with you. Is there a better number 10 in world football at the moment? I had this conversation this morning with someone. I said, can you name me one? Name anybody. Obviously, put it this way: forget the Premier League, wipe that one out.
Don't just say Kevin De Bruyne because that's the first one that comes into your head.
No, but he ain't. He's not. He's had a bad season. He's a great player, but he's had a bad season.
Yeah, he's not been.
So forget the Premier League. So is there anyone else better than him? I can't think of one. I can't think of anybody better than him this season. I put a tweet out yesterday. I think it nearly went viral. I've asked what he's worth now. Martin Odegaard, we paid 30 million for him plus bonuses. I mean, it went crazy, my Twitter page, because I didn't expect it to. But I mean, what a player! What a
Valued
player.
at 60 million on transfer market, but that's bottom end.
Double that.
That's the minimum you can get for him.
Yeah, 150 million. If he's on this form at his age, he just caused Tottenham an absolute nightmares all game, and that was the first half, and that was the second half. I mean, what a goal! What an absolute goal! What a strike! Where Gary Neville, he scuffed it a little bit. Probably why it went in. Please.
I need to put out a petition to stop Gary Neville commentating on Arsenal games, because what is this Sky Sports? Get Jamie Carragher. At least he respects our club. Like, I don't want him. You don't need to support us.
And he should be on Talk Sport. That's where he should be, Gary Neville now.
And as well, I'm not expecting him to give us a free ride if we're being poor, but we ain't. We've been excellent, and this is the kind of commentary that we get. This is what people are paying for. Listen to Gary Neville with his half-assed, biased views on Arsenal. No one wants to hear it, Gary. You salty bastard. Flipping hell. It's annoying, man. I don't pay my subscription to Sky to listen to Gary Neville give Arsenal backhanded comments about how we scuffed the ball to go in. It's genuinely jarring.
I got my
the next day.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I got my Sky prescription, right, because I respect Sky. I respected their commentary. I respected their people on it, right? But I do not want to hear a Talk Sport type commentary from someone who I'm paying money for. If I have to hear it on the radio from these idiots like Simon Jordan and Jamie O'Hara and Graham Souness and Gary Bionor, right? I don't have to pay for that. But I pay for proper comments, not sly, not backhanded comments, right? I want to know what you really think. Stop talking shit, Gary Neville,
and he does
start growing up.
I think it's because the Arsenal Twitter get onto him, and he takes that into
He should know better.
He should know better. That's not professional. Like, it needs sorting out. Russ says scintillating performance. Mesmerizing.
Odegaard. Yeah. I mean, just like, you know, he's like the conductor, isn't he? Of a Philharmonic orchestra, where he just makes it all look beautiful, and he's just teams can't live with him at the minute. The confidence you can see is just flowing through him with whatever he does. His touch is perfect. He kills the ball perfectly. He twists and turns about how many players he's got round him. Pulls down, looks up. He's always finding space, which is a sign of a great player. And again, making comparisons to the Invincibles, he's like Dennis Bergkamp. He's got a long way to go before he gets to sort of legend status of Dennis Bergkamp. But I can see like, I mean, he's the legend of my era, and I can see a lot of comparisons in him. I can see him in him, even the blonde hair. I can even see, he's got that feel about him. He's got that confidence about him. He's got that likable about him. He's got that little bit of nastiness about him now. He's, he'll put his foot in if need be, if he gets a bit gets a bit wind up, which is what Dennis used to do. I'm just loving everything he does, and I thought the goal was a fantastic goal. It was an excellent strike. I mean, scuffed it. Well, I mean, I don't think he scuffed it. I just thought it was an excellent strike, and we put it right in the corner. But I'm going to give him a 9.
The thing is, what the reason why I know that's a backhanded comment from Gary Neville, is because if he was to describe Wayne Rooney's goal against Man City, he wouldn't have mentioned that Wayne Rooney's overhead kick was outlandish. Yeah, one of the best goals you'll see in Premier League history. yeah, he wouldn't have mentioned that it hit his shin. He wouldn't have mentioned it whatsoever. But
He
Arsenal,
even had a go. He even had a go at the Arsenal. Like who was it? That was it. He was popping Ramsdale. Yeah, he had a go at Ramsdale. He was saying about how like because he went up, he was having a go at the crowd. Yeah, because he done this at the end, kissing his badge. Well, do you remember against Liverpool, Gary Neville, when you ran half the length of the pitch to the cop end and was giving it all this, son?
Yeah.
Do you remember this? I
Yeah.
hope you're watching this, Gary. Right? If not, don't worry, I'll send it to your page, the link, and you can have a little look. Right? Do you remember this? Do you remember this?
Because the thing is, what I think he's forgetting when he was a footballer, and he's talking about it.
I just kind of.
The thing, I think he's forgetting of when he was a footballer, and he talks about everything of, okay, maybe I went over the top that time, but you have to. That's the passion of the game, mate. That's why the Man United fans love you, because you do things like that, because you have the same passion and energy that they would have if they were playing against their biggest rivals. So you can't knock Ramsdale for doing that. That's part of the game. That's part of the game. It's the same as if Arsenal were to lose, we would have been pelted by Tottenham fans. We would have had Tottenham players running around us. Yeah. So this is part of it. That's part of it, and you've got to take it. You take your L's like you do W's as well, mate. Like just jarring. So what are you giving Odegaard?
9, mate. 9. I thought he was outstanding. I thought he was excellent.
Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, I thought first half just a constant threat. Just drove. I think he was up against Sessegnon. I thought he had him on toast. The whole of that first half, I don't think he could live with him. I thought it was a bit strange. I didn't get the Perisic thing. I thought that was a bit weird. I was expecting Perisic, but I thought he would have been a bit better choice. So I don't know what Conte's think he was there, but Saka was like, obviously with the goal, got the cross in, got the line, got the ball in, and I thought it was a bit quiet in the second half, still gets an 8 for me from what I thought was the first half. I think again, Tottenham couldn't live with him, and I mean for me, I think he's for me again. It's just for me. I think he's verging on world class now. I don't think he's far away.
I think when he more seasons hitting them, I think Saka can get the numbers that Perez and Ljungberg used to get, the 15-15s, the 12-15s, 12 goals, 15 assists. I think he's got that in his locker. And I don't think that's too far away. Next season, season after. So get him signed up on that long-term deal, because people are going to be sniffing around him like vultures. What are you giving Saka?
8.
8 for Saka. Gabriel Martinelli.
First half he was a threat. He was running at the defence. Someone you've always got to keep an eye on. I don't. He wasn't in it. I thought he could have had a better game. I can't remember him taking players on as much and getting balls across or doing anything sort of telling. He was just a constant danger and a constant threat. I think he could have played a little bit better. I might be being harsh here. I don't know, but I'm just saying what I see. But I still give him. I'm gonna give him a 7, Martinelli. I thought he was just a little bit below the rest. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. But he was still a threat, still a danger. He just wasn't. I don't remember too many moments where he was, in on goal or had made the goalkeeper make a save. So
a lot of it was coming down the right, and then where it was coming from the left, a lot of it was coming from Zinchenko's. you think he could potentially need a bit of a rest?
I think so, mate. I think that's exactly what I thought when I was looking at him. Maybe we obviously the magic thing. He would have sort of been a good someone to come in and give Martinelli a rest. He's been on the World Cup. He did get minutes in the World Cup, so he's been playing pretty regular football the whole time now for quite a while since the start of the season. I think we'll be looking for them. I think we'll be looking. There's a few links coming out afterwards now about players. Like there's Rafinha, but he's more of a right-sided player. But I don't think that's going to happen now. I think Barcelona, they won't sell him. Musab Diaby is something that's come up in the last 24 hour that Arsenal were interested in. That's come from Sky Germany.
The names aren't changing. That's what's interesting. The names are the same names that were popping up last season that we knew were genuine interest as well. I don't want to say and ask you about Martinelli. I just think he could have. He did give the same type of work rate as the rest. Yeah, there's just not much. There wasn't much sort of end product from him, either in the assists. Looking at it from the assist side, looking at it from the, making the goalkeeper work side, where Saka did. I think he come off for Tierney, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, it showed. I think he needs a rest. I think he needs to sit on the bench for a little while, just because Saka's had I think 1 or 2 more seasons with a lot more games, so he's probably got that little bit more stamina, a little bit more in his engine, conditioning wise as well. Yeah. He'll probably start against Manchester United. I'd still start him now. I mean, we ain't got a choice. Well, the closest we've got at the moment, unless we buy someone in the next day or so, is Smith Rowe. Yeah, he's not ready yet. No. So he will. I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be fine. I don't want to have to go into a rant, but I'm really getting fed up about what I'm seeing online about this guy. Just can people give him a break? Again, I thought he was excellent. Honestly, I put out a tweet earlier. I can't. I put out a tweet earlier because I don't think it's fair. All right. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's fair that whenever Eddie doesn't score a goal, straight away you're getting it's pundits, it's radio, it's internet, Twitter. They're all ploughing into Eddie saying we need to get, this is why we need a striker, this is why we need to go and buy a striker. He can't do it. Mate, the geezer, it's the first game he didn't score in. Like when Gabriel Jesus doesn't score, and he hadn't scored in like 5-6 games, there was nothing. There was a few things here and there, but the majority of people were saying what he's bringing to the team. He's been a game changer. His performances have been excellent. Eddie's performances have been excellent. Some people can't win, Keys, right? They don't look at, similar to the Thomas Partey thing, they always play. People have got this habit of like being blinded and looking at just particular things in a game and what they expect. They'll just look at Eddie Nketiah and they think, how many goals he scored though? He didn't score today. Yeah. He maybe should have scored a couple. He missed a couple. And he should have. But he scored next time. But kids, he's in the right places. Yeah. Yeah. If you're working hard as a striker and you're running through the channels and you're popping up in the right areas and you're and the Odegaards and the Xhakas of this world and the Zinchenko's or parties of this world looking up and they seeing you in that space and they thinking, he's in the right space, he's made that run and they play you in on goal, right? You're doing your job. You're doing your job. You're a 7 out of 10. You just got to complete it. Now, if you're missing it, fair enough. Sometimes the goalkeeper makes a good save. Sometimes you should have scored. Yeah. But they don't look at that. He worked his nuts off. I thought he was very good. And there's a lot of
Harry Kane, mate. Harry Kane right, in the World Cup, right, I was praising him as well because, again, I noticed these things. You know, he was getting slagged off, rucked, right? But everyone else was on the same boat. They was all saying what I was saying. It was like, he didn't score any goals. He wasn't making any chances, but boy, did he work hard. He was dropping deep in the midfield. He was laying balls off to the sides, then turning, then running. Yep, things weren't happening. He missed a couple, but wow, you know, he was working hard. 8 out of 10. It's Harry Kane, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, Ireland did the same thing against Man United. He didn't get no chances. He was doing the right things. He was getting in the channels. Because he didn't score.
All right. Yeah. So my turn to speak about Eddie. Oh, he's back.
Sorry about that, people. Yeah, but just carrying on from Ireland. Because he didn't score a goal, he's crap. He's rubbish. He's shit. He's finished. You know, mate, it cracks me up. But yeah, please just get off his back. I thought he was excellent. He should have scored a couple. But for me, he was in the right places, and that's the important part, because next week he'll be in those places again, and he'll put them away.
Yeah, and he's running. He's running. It's not just he's running like aimless running. He's running off the ball. He's running and winning the ball, stopping it from going off for throws, putting pressure on their defenders, winning throws, winning free kicks, linking up with Saka and Odegaard. If you are thinking that Eddie's rubbish, you're not watching the game. You're not
exactly, yeah.
Or you're thinking that's Saka and it's actually Eddie and Nketiah. Like, because I'm watching Eddie's game. I'm watching their games. So I'm like, let's watch his game, because people are getting onto him. Nah, his performance as a centre forward has been excellent. Every single game he's played, it's been excellent. And you can't say it hasn't been. Because people were even digging him out when he was scoring goals. So this is more of an agenda. This is more, you've said you don't want him in. We need something else. And because we haven't, you're picking things. Like, you can have gripes against the fact that he should have done better yesterday in a couple of chances. His first touch on one was sent him a bit too far out. Took him wide, which gave Lloris a chance to get down. The other one was a good save, but again, he probably could have just lifted it a bit more. But give Eddie time, he's going to score another one. He'll score in the next game. He's scoring the next game.
It's when he's not making the chances, when he's not getting in the areas, when you're not off your seat and going, it's a goal. When you're not doing that, then worry.
But the thing is, you can't accuse Eddie of doing that, because even when he comes on as a sub, 2, 3, 4 years ago when he was coming as a sub, Eddie would always come and get a chance.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. So it's not even the case that he's not getting in the right places, because that's his game. His game is getting in the right places. He's a goal scorer. And he scores like he's 2 off of Gabriel Jesus, and Eddie's played 4 games. Like
he's going to be. I'll put money on it now. He'll beat Gabriel Jesus. Is what he scored. I can guarantee you.
He will.
100%.
And that's no slight on Gabriel Jesus. They're different types of players. They bring different things, and having them both in the team is invaluable. It's excellent. And Eddie's proving people wrong week in, week out since he asked for a run in the team, and then you can judge him on that. And he's shut us all up.
Gabriel Jesus has scored 5 goals this season, and a big percentage of the Arsenal fan base, up to when he got injured, would have said he's our best player. So how does that make any sense? It just doesn't. It absolutely slaughters these arguments of people who turn around and say Eddie's not doing what he should do. Well,
100%.
Yeah.
Sure, rating for Eddie.
8.
Wait for Eddie. Tomiyasu.
Yeah, just a standard. I normally give a standard 5, but because it's a North London derby and we won 2-0, I'm going to give a standard 6 for the subs. Yeah.
All right, cool. Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, I give 6. 6.
Mikel Arteta. I think for a couple of minutes, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, what a man! What a manager! I mean, we probably could do a podcast on him. What he's done for Arsenal Football Club since he's been here. A lot of fans wanted him out. I wasn't one of them. After that first season, people were saying, "Oh, he's not the right man." Second season, they were saying that he was even more not the right man. Again, I wasn't in that camp. I could see progression. I knew there was things that had to be done. He's brought in the right players, and I think yesterday was just like a very, very, very close thing to saying, "There you go. There's your team. Apart from Jesus, there's the 11 I've made for you. That's the team that can go on and win the title." And I think if you're Mikel Arteta now, you're just sitting back and you're saying to yourself, "I've got my boys. Now I just need to back it up with some squad players to sit on the bench."
Reinforcements. He needs reinforcements, and
that's where he's taken us from that mess of a cesspit we was in when he first come to the club, where now we've just beat Tottenham 2-0 away from home, sitting at the top of the league, 8 points clear. We haven't beat them since 2014 at White Hart Lane, which, as probably people know, Mikel Arteta was in the team that day. So maybe that's an omen. But the guy I can't praise the guy enough. And I'm so pleased for him. I love his reactions on the pitch.
Yeah.
I love the way he is. Again, we had it from Richard Keys. He was the one that was inciting on the touch lines and blah, 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 blah. But I never seen none of that. I thought he was impeccable on the touch line. I didn't even see him. But
I just don't understand that. Jurgen Klopp gets praised for his passion, and this is 100% because it's Arsenal. 100%. This is not just an Arsenal fan saying this is 100% because you know the reaction that Arsenal fans will give. This is why you're saying it about Arsenal, because when it was Klopp, this is what you want to see from your manager. He's giving the same energy that the players are giving. That's what Arteta's doing. That's what Arteta's doing. Martin Keown said it perfectly. Richard Keys is making noise about Arsenal because no one's paying him any attention on the other side of the world. No one's interested in what he has to say on the other side of the world. So he speaks about Arsenal, so he gets a few clicks. That's it.
I've read I've seen some of his posts, and I've seen some of and I've read some of the replies underneath his posts, and I'm thinking to myself, and what Arsenal fans are just doing now, Richard, they're just laughing at you, mate. They think you're sad. I think they're getting to that point now where they're putting up silly gifs and silly memes and winding him up just to say, and it must be embarrassing. I don't know why he does it. Maybe for the attention. I wouldn't want that type of attention, no matter for anything. But I mean, Mikel Arteta, I'm sure he couldn't give a monkeys. He's just going to go on and do what he does. He's everything he did yesterday was excellent. I loved him on the pitch, celebrating with the players. It's just unbelievable. Got to give him. It was a 2-0 away win to Spurs, our rivals. Clean sheet. I'll give him a 10.
It's a 10.
I don't think he's got a fault at the moment. I just can't. If people just say what's his faults, I'll be like, I don't know. Can't really think of one. I think he's been excellent.
Yeah. 10 for. All right. So that is our player ratings, and you can't really complain there. Arsenal were excellent against Tottenham. Top performance. Make sure you join us tomorrow for the breakdown of this game. For news, the latest. We'll be discussing what kind of players Arsenal needs to be bringing in yeah, because there's plenty to discuss on that one. Where do they go? Do they go with the youth again? Do they go with someone a bit more here and now? Do they go with someone experienced? How do they do it? What do they do? Because it is clear that Arsenal need reinforcements in this squad, because it's right now we are wafer thin. There's no real backup past 14. That's it. And that's not anything on the other players, but they're just not the golfing class between a Thomas Partey and a Lokonga and a Saka and a Marquinhos is too big. So yeah, reinforcements are definitely needed. Thank you everyone who's joined us in the comment section. Good to see you in there. Facebook user, change your status so we can see who you are. Good to see you there, Russ, as well. Thanks for joining us tonight, Steve.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Been a pleasure. Pleasure every time. This time, mate. Not that it hasn't been before, but even more.
Well,
so
we're always winning at the moment, so it makes it a lot easier to digest. All right.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. If you are a regular for the show, that button and just press the copy. If you're new, press that subscribe button and the like as well. All right. Peace out, people. Stay safe. Oh, forgot the button. And wash your hands.